Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of the State League Show. My co-host is the voice of State League, the guy that does the intro. It's Paul Persic. How are you, mate?
First of all, what the hell are you thinking bringing me here? I'm a donkey with a beard.
This is going to be awesome. And now I've got to throw to a pre-recorded version of you to do the intro for the show. So, Paul Persic, give it to him.
Santa Maria! It's the State League Show with Singy and Big Sexy. Get out the rye bread and mustard this time, Grandma, because the State League Show starts right now.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of the State League Show. I went into my Bloop and a Blast intro there. My apologies. I'm a bit nervous because the voice of State League is here. It is none other than Mr. Paul Persic. Paul, how are you, mate? Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. Really appreciate it. And hello, everybody. It's already the halfway stage of the season, but it's already gone by so quickly. But no, it's great to be here and looking forward to discussing all things State League baseball. Mate,
it is awesome to have you here. You're already better than Singy, okay? So please, Singy's off on his honeymoon. He's off and away, but mate, it's great to have you here. I really do appreciate you coming in.
Mate.
Another fellow wrestling fan like me, you and me, we were there. You're wearing the Ultimate Warrior hat. I love it. It's awesome. We won't go into it because I don't think too many of these baseball fans are wrestling fans, but it's awesome to have you here, mate. And you called the game on Friday night, of course, Swans and Wanneroo. Yeah. Let's dive straight into it. Before we do, I must thank, of course, the sponsors. At Hydration Station Perth, they, if you want yourself a little drink bottle, you'll see it there on the table. Pretty good. Go and check them out at Hydration Station Perth. But Paul, give it to me, mate. Talk to me. Well, Friday night, Wanneroo, Swans, a lot happening at the ballpark.
It certainly did, and the Giants, they were the only team to make it happen, if I'm being honest. 13-0, a complete shutout, and it was the Todd Bailey show.
Yep.
I mean, you look at his performance on the mound, 10 strikeouts in 6 completed innings, completely shut out any opportunity the Swans had of making any significant scoring drive. Their top order in particular was very disappointing because they couldn't find an answer to Todd Bailey. You know, Kurosawa, Hoyt and DeGasperis all had swings, all had great intent of attacking Todd Bailey, but what you don't do is you attack a pitcher that can strike at 80, 85 miles an hour on a consistent basis, and that's what Todd Bailey did to shut out the Swans 13-0.
Bailey back from heat duties as well previously. So last weekend, I think you'll find he'll just be pitching those home series. I'm not sure if he can or he can't travel, but hey, correct me if I'm wrong, please, at State League Show on Instagram. Someone tell me. But look, I watched a little bit of it. Unfortunately for Swans, I think we sort of discussed this, last week's show with Singy. I think if you're going to go after it, having maybe not as much depth as some of those other clubs, Swans were probably thinking to themselves, we'll go after Rocco on Sunday. 6 and 1, half a dozen the other. You know what I mean? You go after Wanneroo, they've got a doubleheader as well, or you go after Rocco. Maybe they probably went after Rocco on the Sunday, and we'll get into that game as well. But I think to myself, like, I watched a bit of that game. Unfortunately, pitching just wasn't quite there, and I think they said, hey, it's sort of gotten away from us in that sort of second or third inning, and that's when I think they just sort of said, hey, let's just see what we can do and deal with it how we can.
And often assessing this bluntly, they should have gone with Means as a starting pitcher. I think they put too much of the focus on that Sunday game in Rockingham when you've got to put the focus on all the games. Okay, you've got to rotate your lineup. You want to have the best lineup you can, whether it be your pitching staff or the top order of your batting lineup. But I reckon they should have started with Means, and the numbers really speak for itself. I mean, the Clarkson boys, who were on the mound for Swan Districts, conceded 10 hits between them. And that is an alarming number when you're looking at it.
Quite a few hit by pitches as well in that second innings.
Four of them.
But again, it is what it is, and it's unfortunate. But hey, one that Swans got away from them, and I think they just said, hey, at the end of the day, this one's maybe a bit far out of reach. Let's move on and aim for Sunday. So sometimes you got to do that.
Yeah, absolutely. So considering the Giants, they're in the midst of fighting for the top 3, they've always been a very strong team, and the Giants, they started a bit of a slump, but then they've got back they've got back on track, 13-0. They've got their big hitters firing, and also their pitching staff, led by Todd Bailey, who was the only one for the night, pitched a complete game in 5, 10 strikeouts. So the Giants, they're a league beyond Swan Districts from where the Swans' point of view is, but going after Rockingham, okay, they're also contending for the 5. May not have been a bad option. Problem is, if they had won. on Sunday as well, because Sunday was quite a fascinating day, and we'll get into that later, and maybe not always for the right reasons.
Let's go into that then. The Swans Rocco game. We'll change it while we're talking about Swans here. Swans Rocco. Rocco actually. I'm not sure if I mentioned this, but unfortunately for Swans, Wanneroo, and fortunately for Wanneroo, Wanneroo got up 13-0 in that Friday night game. But let's move over, as I said, to Sunday. Rocco takes the game against Swans 6-3.
And that's a very important win for Rockingham, because they're still on the fight in that race for the 5 now. There's been a bit of a gap between 5th, 6th and 7th in that race for the 5, top 5 finishing in the finals. And now this win from Rockingham really does take them back into that race, if you know what I mean. And especially when you have, the star Isaac Keane on the mound, 13 strikeouts. He is keen for success, no pun intended.
I like saying keen. Keen. It's a fun little bit that I think Singy thinks that I don't know how to say it, but I just like every time he says keen, I'd like to repeat it. Anyway, sorry, you were making a really good point. I was making a silly joke.
No, that's all good.
Hit me with it.
No, 13 strikeouts. Isaac Keane with 13 strikeouts, and he had Tarantola complete the second part of that game with that finishing strikeout, and he had over 108 pitches. Did Isaac Keane 108 for 73 as far as the pitches to strikes ratio is concerned. Like for a pitcher that pitches over 100 to get 70 strikes. Pretty bloody good, isn't it?
Yeah,
and get 13 strikeouts in the end against...
He went shovely. He had a little Shovington on Sunday, Keane did. 13 Ks. And then I think, too, throwing it over to Vinny. Vinny's thrown a lot of innings already. He's been a bit of a workhorse on the mound, so it would have been nice for him to sort of say, hey, Keane goes, I got you, bruv. And Vinny comes out, throws a couple of innings. Maybe helps reduce the workload on his arm, because he's already thrown quite a few innings.
He has, but that goes to show that Rockingham now are starting to grow in their pitching staff. As far as their stock is concerned, they're not just relying on Tarantola, who's a great pitcher in itself, but Isaac Keane is continuing to grow as a key pitcher for the Rams, and he could start more games in the second half of the season, and if Rockingham make the finals, they could form a good 1-2 punch on the mound for Rockingham should they make it, and they could cause a couple of headaches for the other final sides if they make the 5.
Absolutely, and any other key performers there that you saw out of that Rocco Swans game?
Well, there were a couple. Having a look at it, you look at Diggins. 5 at bat, 2 hits. He got a lot of productivity out of the top of the order with the 2 RBI. Tarantola, he's not just your prime pitcher. He's a good all-round performer. Batting
2
in that
for 4,
force
2 RBIs.
Yep, a very good performance there. Sakara as well, 1 hit. Went 5 at bat for 2 there. Very successful, all things considered, because they only used 9 players in that side. They didn't have anyone come off the bench and enact that pinch hitter role. So, for the Rockingham's batting, I thought it was very good, a lot better than what it has been in recent weeks. But it's a win that is going to mean a lot to the club heading into the second half of the season, because now we're going into round 12 coming up this week, starting on the Saturday, and the race for the finals is well and truly on. You've got this weekend's fixtures, the Christmas break, then you go into full gear in January. 2 months of regular season baseball before the 5 is determined for the finals.
Singy always says that you just don't want to drop games that you shouldn't. You know what I mean? Like you don't want to lose those games that you should be picking up. And I mean, it makes sense, but when you think about it, it's like, hey, like you want to go out there, if you got 2 games and you think one of them, and we sort of saw this, like I said, right? Like Swans obviously focused a bit more on Sunday, I think, once, especially after Friday got out of hand, but it is what it is. Unfortunately for Swans, no dice.
No dice, sadly.
Rocco picks up a game, and so do Wanneroo on the Friday night.
And even more alarmingly as well, in those 2 games, 19 runs. 19 runs in those 2 games, and 13 of them coming on Friday night. That's something you don't want to have next to your team name after 2 games when you're having to play on the Sunday as well as the Friday night. That can haunt you for the remainder of the season.
That's a good point. Let's move on to one of the other games. Obviously, quite a few games got washed out over the weekend. I know for a fact we were just about to start our game.
Yeah.
Down it comes. But let's talk about the few that got in. Braves and Vic Park, 6-4. Braves, it looked like old JK just said, hey guys, we're going to draw names out of a hat as to who pitches, because it looks like half the bloody Braves side pitched.
Yeah.
What's going on there?
Yeah, that was wild. Who would have thought half the team would be used on the mound? You got Kennelly, Kerr, Clark, Okamura, Joel Beaches and Golding that were pitching in that game, but they got out of jail there. They really got out of jail, because if you think about it, they were leading 6-2 at the bottom of the ninth. And then the Vic Park Belmont Reds came in, batted in 2 runs right out of nowhere, but it was their outfielding. It was their outfielding that really made the difference in the end.
Well, if you look at it too, I will put it to you this way. The other thing you've got on Vic Park's side of things is you've got a guy by the name of Andrew Hurlbrink. Yes. Hurlbrink, sorry that I said that incorrectly, but Hurlbrink's just come back from his duty with the Perth Heat. He's been doing relatively well there, and he was shoving in State League before he went to the Heat, and he's come back here, and he's basically gone, 6 innings pitched, 2 hits, 2 runs, one run of that was earned, 1 walk and 8 strikeouts. Now, that is a very good day on the mound for your club ball team. I mean, it doesn't matter who your name is, but the fact that Andrew Hurlbrink's done it, he's been doing it week in, week out. That's how he got to the Heat, right? That's a pretty good outing. And if you look at the box score, you can see here he's kept them quiet the whole time. You know, basically Vic Park actually had the lead up until the 6th. It was 2-0. You know, so it's pretty interesting there. From Hurlbrink, it was a great day for him. And Ito comes in the end, 3 innings in relief. We spoke about this last week. Obviously, imports having innings and things like that. Hurlbrink coming back into the lineup for Vic Park. We played Vic Park last week, and they nearly stole one from us as well.
That's right.
And very, good side. Unfortunately, here another one of those games for them that you just look at and you go, oh mate, just one that just got away from them. But we did talk about it, of course. It's a welcome addition having Andrew Hurlbrink back in the side.
It is,
considering the import arms and the innings that are in those arms. Can you remember on a Friday night when you're commentating those games? Any import, if you have 2 imports, like for instance Vic Park, they can only pitch 100 innings in the regular season.
Right.
So it's it's very, very interesting, and we spoke about it last week. I won't harp on it, but good to see Andrew Hurlbrink back in the side. Unfortunate that they couldn't get the win.
Yeah, it was. And it was another one where, I said this in one of the games that I was broadcasting involving the Vic Park Belmont Reds. They just don't have enough hitters. They don't bat deep enough. That's the problem. And, they've got some great batters in there. They've got Suzuki, they've got Smallpage, Cosgrove, Greenham, Boyer, Warrington and Hurlbrink who can hit. But they just don't bat deep enough. That's the problem. They can only rely at the moment on their top 3. If you only rely on your top 3 and you don't get productivity out of the middle of the order, then you're really going to struggle, especially against the Braves side who are looking to get back their championship crown after Morley beat them convincingly in the grand final series. But as for the Braves, dare I say it, that was one that they got lucky. But you've got to have to. Sometimes in baseball, you've got to get lucky. And if you get lucky enough and you do that with skill, then you can get the job done. But the Braves nearly let that one slip. 4-run lead, and they almost blew it, considering that they were kept at bay until the top of the 6th. But a win's a win, and the Braves were able to pick up another one, 6-4. But they would have had it more convincingly if they didn't let that big lead slip. If there weren't a couple of errors made on the field, and if they just polished it off a little bit earlier, as far as the way the game was going is concerned, maybe they would have had a bigger win. But they got the points. That's all that matters.
That's
and the Braves, they've got another one on the board.
That's it. Let's move on again. Well, we can't, because that's all the games that were played.
Yeah,
we've spoken about it. That was it.
3 games rained out.
I know for a fact that we were all lined up in Wanneroo. We had the awesome Heritage Round jerseys. Wanneroo had I don't know if you've seen any pictures. Go and check out @MikeBar photo on Instagram. Go and check it out yourself too, because Morley, we had a really, really cool, really special jersey on with a lot of names on the front of people that had been involved in the club. And Wanneroo had a throwback jersey as well. They both looked really, really cool.
Wanneroo celebrating their 50th anniversary.
Correct. And so it was a good thing. The 2 clubs got together prior to the season and said, hey, we should do this on a special day. And 70 years for us, so it was pretty cool as well. But it was really, really cool. Go and check it out on Instagram. Mike Barr's got some great photos up there. It's really, really cool. But unfortunately, the Rezzies got in, and I tell you what, I was first base coaching in that game. And man, I was standing out in the sun and I was like, this sucks. I was low-key lucky that I wasn't playing because it was so hot. I don't know how they were doing it. And the catchers on the day, I'm sure catchers everywhere would be like, man, whatever. It's another day at the office. But I tell you, it was so stinking hot. Anyways, and we got ready just to start the game. And then down comes the rain. And I thought, okay, this is good. This will cool it down and we'll get a game in. Nah, it didn't. Big storm hit. Couldn't get it done. But it was a shame because, everyone was ready to go. And We had the sick unis on. Everyone, it was going to be a cracker, especially playing against Wanneroo at Wanneroo.
And both sides, were in prime form. They were in the 5, and it was going to be a real big statement if Wanneroo were able to get up and were able to have a full game. And the same could be said for Morley, because now, looking at the ladder, is if we go looking at games behind, Morley have now lost top spot on the ladder. It's gone to the Braves. They've now got 13 wins on the board.
Easy, Paul, easy, because I fell victim to this a few weeks ago, and Singy called me out on it. So it's not just blind Morley love, but win percentage is what we've got to go off. So right. Jess Fitzgerald, BWA, what he will work it out of is win percentage. That's so if you do go win percentage, I agree with you, games behind, but all games aren't even.
That's right.
So win percentage, yes, Morley's still there.
Morley on
top, only just 923. Braves right behind on 900. Perth in third spot, 667. Wanneroo Giants right behind them. Careen Cats, Rockingham, Vic Park, Swan Districts, UWA, South Perth, and Gozzies. So,
I think it's safe to say, that the top 2 for the moment, they're safe. Yeah. I think it's Morley, Braves. They're the 2 best sides in the competition. There's no doubt about that. They've got a complete package when you're looking at a team like the Eagles and the Braves, big hitters from all around. They get productivity everywhere in their lineup. And their pitching stock, is led by pitchers that are second to none in the competition. And I reckon the fight is going to be now for those final 3 spots in the 5, because, of course, 5th plays 4th in the elimination final, and, of course, 2nd plays 3rd. They get an automatic semi-final spot. Top spot will have an automatic semi-final as well. So the fight for 3rd, 4th, and 5th is going to be very interesting, because now with Rockingham getting the win, Victoria Park, Belmont are still up there. Swan District's starting to slip, but there's still a lot of games to go, and a lot of games to be made up because of the multiple rain delays that we had. Perth and Morley had one early in the season.
We've had a few, against Perth. And another thing I wanted to talk about is Careen Cats, and we'll get into this in there when we start to look at the thing. But I do have some word on Careen as far as they did take a big loss to Braves a couple of weeks ago, and it would have been interesting to see how they bounce back from that this weekend. Unfortunately, we weren't really able to see it with the weather. But that'll be one to watch, because, Paul, they're right there. They're in that 5th spot right now. Obviously, you got Rocco, you got Vic Park, you got Swans sort of nipping at their heels a little bit. But I tell you what, for Careen, the sort of, I don't want to say they're the surprise of the season, but they are in a way, because, coming into the season, we were talking more about Rocco and Swans, and we sort of thought, hey, these guys have got this going on. Hasn't really panned out that way, and Careen have had a great few additions to their lineup. They've had a guy like Connor Lowry go back to vintage Connor Lowry, as I'm told, and he's gone back and just turned back the clock and just shoved for a number of innings. So for Careen now, they've faced a little bit of adversity in this after, stealing 2 games against Perth. So for them to come back out this weekend, it would have been great to see what they could have done. Unfortunately, the weather didn't allow it, but that's one to watch going into the Christmas break. And
also the games that they've got this weekend against Rockingham, that's going to be a real test. That's going to be the real litmus test. They're up against a side that has experienced finals, and they've got the likes of Keane and Tarantola on their pitching staff. How are the Cats going to counter their impact on the game? They're going to have to really get the best top order out there. They've got, dare I say, maybe the Cats' best batter in Cameron Brantley. You've got a guy who's hitting, especially when you're hitting at 361 and you're consistently getting base hits across your plate appearances. 13 hits, 6 singles and 3 doubles, including 16 RBI for the season so far. If you want to take the attack right to those 2 pitches for Rockingham, you've got to have Brantley at the top of the order at his best.
Yep, absolutely. Now, before we dive into next week, I do have a really special segment. It's not on the phone with Kai Varone. We're not going to call you this week, Kai. I'll call you on Christmas Day myself. We won't do it on the podcast. I'll wish you a Christmas Day. But we do have another canteen review. I've got to remember to throw to this because I didn't throw to it in the last episode. Also, I apologise to everyone. I had people messaging me say, hey, where's this new segment? I want to see the new segment. Well, you saw it. It's Lockie Southey's Canteen Reviews. We're going to make it a thing because people liked it. So, hey, Southey, give us your Canteen Review. Here we go.
Hey, guys. Welcome back to another Stately Canteen Review. Today we're at the Wanneroo Giants, and today we've got the chicken and salad wrap. Heard good things about it, so I'm excited to try. That's really good. Solid. I'll go, give that a solid 8. Thank you.
There we go. The big man, Lockie Southey, with his Canteen Review. you wouldn't have guessed it was going to be Wanneroo because, no way were Morley playing at Wanneroo, and you haven't seen it. So you didn't get to see the Canteen review, but I tell you what, it was a good one. Yeah, little chicken wrap is what he got. Yeah. So anyways, there you go. I won't spoil it for you because you haven't seen it. You'll have to watch it back. But yeah, thanks, Southie, and we appreciate it. Hey, let us know in the comments of that video or this one where your favourite club is and what we should buy when we go there. Obviously, it's going to be tied to the schedule a little bit. Sorry about that. I can't just be sending Southie to, like one bloke said, Willison. Willison has the best chips and gravy. I strongly disagree. Obviously, I'm very biased towards Morley, but low-key, next time you're at Morley, get the small chips and gravy.
Oh, yeah.
For some reason, it slaps. I don't know what it is. It's amazing.
It's like Homer on The Simpsons going about the gummy Venus. It's like, oh.
A little bit, yeah, it is. It is actually a thing. I am like, oh my God, how could chips and gravy be so good?
Oh.
Anyways, we digress. Maybe that's what we call this, chips and gravy. We'll call this episode Chips and Gravy with Paul Persic. There you go. That's the name. We've got it. Let's move on to, it is the last round before Christmas. Let's get into it. Saturday, the 20th of December, Kareen's going to play Rocco. Who are we thinking here for Kareen v Rocco?
Tough game, this one. Tough game. I reckon it's going to be a battle of Kareen attack and Rockingham defence.
Just to give you a heads up quickly, Sue, sorry, I fed you give you some more information. It's a double header.
It is.
Rocco and Kareen. What are you thinking?
I reckon it's going to be Kareen in both. I reckon Kareen could win it. They're going to continue on their improvement. Their improvement in both their pitching stock and their batting lineup has really taken the competition by surprise. In a way, but it really hasn't because Kareen has always been up there. And as I said before with, their batting lineup, if you start your best at the top of the order, you're going to get big runs. And I reckon Kareen will get them in both.
It's interesting. It is interesting because we know Rocco's going to go Vinny in one of those two games.
Will, yep.
Means, is it Means or Keen?
Keen.
One of the two. He's been good. Don't get me wrong, but he's been a little bit inconsistent as far as like he'll go out and shove like he did last week, and then maybe not the next week. So it's just a bit interesting. I would probably say it'd be great to see Kareen go out and win too. Hey, we love Vinny and we love Rocco. Great to see them both go out and win a couple of games. Don't get me wrong. But I think you're probably going to see a 1-1 split here. I think you'll find Kareen could probably take that first game, and I think you'll find that Rocco's going to dig deep on the back of a huge Vinny DeHarantola effort on the mound in game 2, and that's how that's going to go.
That's a good point you make. 1-1. Depending on who are they going to go with at the start.
Yeah, so there you go. So there's that. And Singy hasn't sent in his tips yet, so to the Stat Cat, please just null and void his tips. We do not need to hear them. Yeah, I have no power in this show. I say that, right? I edit it all. It's all shot in my house. Nothing happens. No one listens. The Stat Cat still gives Singy points. It's rigged. Anyways, we won't get into it. I'm stirring a few people up by saying that. That's good. That's good. Let's get into the next one. This is another doubleheader. This one's actually so Kareen, Rocco play Saturday one game, Sunday the next game. Someone tell me in the comments if I'm incorrect here, but that's what it's got here on Game Changer. This game, this doubleheader between Gosnells and Swans is a straight double on the day. Yep. Gosnells Swans, what are we thinking?
Swans in both.
Yeah.
I just can't see Gosnells going further than where they are at the moment. Something has got to be done not only about their side's performance on the field, but also what's going on off it. I feel there's something more to what's going on here.
I don't think so. I think you'll find it's more just a bit of a rebuilding phase for Gozzies. I think they've got some really young talent. I think I heard the man say it himself, Robbie Adamson. He said, look, we've got some really, really good young talent. It's just going to take a few years for them to get through. So they're just trying to do everything that they can at the moment to get to that point. So I think, good point though.
But they're up against a Swan District side who are going to be on the rebound after that trouncing.
Good opportunity for Swans to go and pick up 2 games.
And they'll need
very much needed 2 games. So I'll back you on that. I'll say Swans in 2 as well. Braves, South Perth. That's just a 1 game from what I'm seeing here. Braves, it's probably got to be Braves, right? Braves in 1.
It has to. Braves to win that game, and I reckon It might be a no-hitter. Whoever starts could throw a no-hitter.
You can't say that.
I'm throwing it out there.
You can't call a no-hitter.
I got to throw it out there.
That's out. That's
I've
crazy.
got to throw it out there.
I don't know, man. You got to think about it too. I think Braves. We talked about Braves getting lucky last week. I'm not really sure what happened. Someone messaged the show, please, because obviously their regular guys weren't there, so they had to pass the hat around for the pitching, which is why Braves did what they did, but they still got away with it. Yeah, look, I think Braves hitters probably strong enough. It's also Perth Heat home weekend.
I believe so.
I think so. Are the Perth Heat here this weekend?
Yes. Maybe they were in Sydney last week.
Maybe you get someone like a Bowie come back into the lineup. We haven't really seen much of that this year when they're playing at home, so it would be cool to see. I'd love to see some of our Perth Heat players come back to the state league, but probably not. But who knows? I don't know. I think you're right. I think Braves should be pretty comfortable here. But
yeah, Braves. Again,
it is what it is. Let's move on. Vic Park, UWA. They've got a double header. Vic Park, UWA. We see. I think you find would have been an interesting one to watch on the weekend. UWA. It looked like Pops was starting. I could have poor intel, so I apologise. Pops is our guy. He's messaged the show, and we've spoken a bit to the UWA guys. They're pretty fun. But interesting sort of a picture there, because when he's in the zone, Pops, he's nasty.
Absolutely.
He's absolutely nasty, but sometimes he struggles with some command issues. I think you're going to see him go in one of these two games. It'd be really interesting to see if he can get it done against Vic Park. But again, Vic Park, it's just that club this year that's just been thereabouts. They've had so many close games that they're leading, and they just couldn't quite get it across the line. So this is a hard one. I want to say I really would love to see Vic Park go out and take two games, but UWA has been relatively competitive in spots. In one game, it's really hard to pick. I want to say it's going to be 1-1, but don't be surprised if Vic Park can go out and maybe get two games here, especially with Hurlbrink back. Yeah. We'd have to see. It depends. Hurlbrink might be on that local roster. You know, when I say local roster, Perth Heater in town, he might have to sit. You know, it's a hard one.
They do have a home series this week.
There you go. So it's a hard one. If Hurlbrink's back, at least they've got the import, and they've got two imports and Hurlbrink and the other Hurlbrink as well. Apologies, there's two of them. So they got a bit of pitching. I want to see Vic Park. I really do want to see Vic Park go out and get two games. I wouldn't be surprised if it's a 1-1 split. I'm going to go 1-1.
I'm going to go 1-1 as well.
Yep.
I'm going to go 1-1 as well, especially with that UWA pitcher. When he's on form, he can get real nasty. Yep. So it's going to be all about if Keane can be consistent for those two games, if they get him on for both those two games, or if they can get that second import for that second game. Maybe I reckon Keane will start in the first one, and their second import will start on the second. It's just about how they can be consistent every inning they're on the mound.
That's it. Let's move on to Rocco and Kareen. Rocco Kareen. Oh, I did. Did I make it? Yeah. Oh, we've done that. My apologies. I thought it was... This one's a pretty special one. Sorry, guys. Also, it's Paul Persic. I'm sitting here. I'm nervous. He's sitting here with his Ultimate Warrior hat on, guys. I'm whatever. This is pretty special. Morley, Perth. It's pretty cool. I'll probably be playing Resis. I don't care. This is pretty cool though, because for me personally, my mum and dad are going to be here, so they're flying over for Christmas. And I don't know, I'll probably be playing Resis, like I said, but Morley at Perth. So I made my parents change their flights. I said, it'd be cool if you could come and see us play a game. And mum's a tragic. She'll watch on Game Changer all the time. And she, have they got the video on? But they're going to come, and I made them change the flights so they could see the game. So Morley v Perth, I've only been here a little bit, but the little bit I've learnt is that it's going to be a fiery one. It's going to be a lot of fun. There'll be a lot of fun going on at Perth as well. So we're going to their house, which is cool. The old rivals, they started again. So yeah, but it'd be cool for me because my parents will actually get to watch me in person play a game, or whatever in Perth. So that's pretty cool. But obviously I'm going to go with Morley here for the State League game against Perth. What are you thinking?
I'm honestly undecided. one-sided in this game because both sides are evenly matched in a lot of areas, especially their batting lineup. And the fact that it's going to be in Perth at Inglewood Oval makes it very spicy as well. And of course, they want to make up for the lost game they had earlier in the season because of the rain at NSR High Ballpark. I honestly can't make a prediction. They're both very evenly matched. And you look at where they are on the ladder, first and third. This could be an early finals rehearsal.
Yeah.
It could be an early finals rehearsal if they meet in the grand final.
Pretty sure. We might have played. I think we played the Rezzies game earlier this year. I think the league game got washed out.
The league game did get washed out. The reserves game did get completed.
And also the game that we were supposed to play Perth in Gala round, I think got washed out as well. So we actually, correct me if I'm wrong, again, I was away, I've missed weeks, but I'm pretty sure we haven't played Perth yet. So
no, that's right, you haven't.
You know what we should do? We should go and put $100 on a rain out because there's a chance, there's a dead set chance it's going to happen. Yeah, it's interesting. Look, is what it is. Who are you going to pick?
I honestly can't. I'll wait till Sunday.
Yeah?
But
okay.
Be the bearer of bad news for those that are putting $100 on the rain. It's going to be 30 degrees on Sunday in perfect conditions.
Yeah, good point. So I'm going to go Morley Eagles and, of course, Singy, again, StatCat. Give him nothing. He's not here.
Nothing.
If you can't, yes, nothing. So there you go. And that's it. We've been through them all. Vic Park, UWA, they've got a doubleheader. Swans and Gozzies. And that's it. So, Paul, before we get you out of here, mate, I just want to ask you, who do you think now, give me one, we should go like a roughie. We're talking about $100 odds.
Okay.
Give me a roughie to come and take the title at halfway point in the season here. Who do you think could be, I mean, you can't really go with a Morley or a Braves given their sort of stature on the table at the moment, but give me a rough odds to come through and whip it home in the second half.
At this stage, I might say Wanneroo.
Okay.
I might say the Giants, especially if Todd Bailey keeps firing the way he did on Friday against Swan Districts. You know,
sitting in fourth, it's not ultra rough, but that's fair.
It's not impossible. You
Yeah.
know, it's not impossible, but you know, given where they are apart as far as wins are concerned, you know, 13 wins compared to 9. If the Giants can keep Bailey as their starting pitcher on the mound, and if he can get those number of strikeouts on a consistent basis, and you know, keep the big hitters of the likes of Perth, Braves, Morley, even Kareen at bay, then that's going to be huge for Wanneroo and their chances of not only going to the grand final but winning the whole thing in 25-26 come the end of March. So at this stage, Ruffy for me is Wanneroo.
Well, they've got Mulamekic, they've got Shippy, they've got Bandy getting a lot of work in as well. They've got some pitches, and they've probably got more. There's Wanneroo guys going. Normally on this podcast, the guys at Morley make fun of me because earlier this year I said Wanneroo will be difficult. They'll come out ready to go. And they actually beat Morley in that game.
They did.
So anytime I mention Wanneroo on this podcast, all the Morley boys get fair up me. So thank you for saying Wanneroo were good because I just can't. I can't say it anymore. They just think I'm a big Wanneroo fan. Clearly I'm not. But anyway, so having a bit of fun. There you go. Interesting. I'm going to, you know what? I'm going to say, I mean, it's easy to say Kareen because they're right about it, but hey, it'd be great to see someone in that sort of Kareen, Rocco, Vic Park area really come home strong with the second half. Hey, it could even be a Swans. You know what I mean? I mean, 4-10, they've lost a fair few games. They've got a lot of work to do. But Vic Park's sort of right there as well. But it would be cool to see. Cool to see a team and you come up against,
It'd be great for the competition.
Here we go.
It'd be great for the competition. We've had that last couple of years, you know, with Vic Park, Belmont, 23, 24 making the semis. And then, of course, you had Rockingham Rams in their first ever final just last season. And they're determined to build on that first ever finals game, which was against Wanneroo in the elimination final. And if they can continue on a good run in the second half, they've won their last 3 now as a result after their win against Swan Districts. If they can keep that winning run going, you know, they might even leapfrog Kareen or even Wanneroo to that 4th place because they're only 2 wins outside the 5.
Yeah, that's a good point. There you go. So your mid-season roughie, Wanneroo. Okay. I want to say Kareen. I reckon there's a chance they could get on a run. They could get it going. You know, nothing nastier than a team that's just having a bit of fun and they go and they get it done. You know, but yeah, I don't know. I got to say Morley. Nah, they're not a roughie at all.
They're 12 wins on top of the ladder.
No matter what I say here, mate, I'm going to get in trouble. So I'm not going to say anything about it. But Paul, it has been great to have you, mate. What's your Instagram? Tell everyone what your Instagram handle is.
It's at Paul_Persic.
Paul@Paul_Persic. Go and hit him up on Instagram. You're always out, mate. You're out there doing the state league games. You did the women's elite games. You're literally sitting right now, which is kind of weird, right? But we were sitting here. I was watching you. Well, not necessarily. I was listening to you on that TV behind the camera. Commentate that game. As I was watching the game, I had to leave early and all of that. And then next thing you know, you're here. So that's a bit weird, but you're always out there, mate. We appreciate you. You're so busy. You're doing that. You're doing AFL. You're doing cricket. Mate, you're living the dream. You're out there just commentating sport, and it was great to have you on the podcast. I really do appreciate it. Your voiceover, I thought I was going to get you to do a live Santa Maria. Could we get one for the...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah? You ready? You ready to go?
Right, here we go.
Here we go.
1, 2, 3. Santa Maria.
Ah, there it is. That is unreal. A live Santa Maria from the man himself, Paul. It's been great to have you, mate. I really do appreciate having you on the show. It's been a lot of fun. And that's it. If you've enjoyed it, go and check us out at State League Show on Instagram. Go and smash the like button. I'm supposed to be better at that. I'm supposed to give a bit more plugs to liking the video on YouTube. Hey, check us out. If you're watching us on Spotify, that's great. We appreciate that. But go and check us out over on YouTube at Bloop Blast Podcast. We've got that's the handle for the YouTube channel. We've also got the Bloop Blast show. That comes out on a Tuesday. We've also got a bunch of things happening. Go and check us out at Bloop Blast Podcast on YouTube. Go and check out the State League Show at State League Show on Instagram. His name's been Paul Persic. Yes, the Ultimate Warrior hat. He's the man. He's running wild. I am Big Sexy. We appreciate you guys for watching. Thanks. Good luck this weekend. One more round before Christmas. Then it's it. Just getting into the pointy end of the season. Take care. Good luck. See ya.
Santa Maria. It's the State League Show with Singy and Big Sexy. Get out the right bread and mustard this time, Grandma, because the State League Show starts right now.